Right behind Musk is Jeff Bezos and Sam Altman of OpenAI and their company called Figure. This year, the robots are indeed coming. There's no doubt you have to be tech smart or else you will be left tech behind. That's why you need my free newsletter. Sign up right now at getkim.com. Ever heard of the audience effect? It's when we change our behavior when we think we're being watched. Well, online, we're always being watched. Your internet provider tracks everything you do, even in private mode. That's why I use ExpressVPN. It's a tool I trust to keep my internet connection protected. With one click, it hides everything I do online and sends it through a secure connection so no one can see or track my online activity. Here's the best part. ExpressVPN works across all your devices, your phone, laptop, tablet, even your smart TV. One subscription protects up to 8 devices, so your whole family stays secure. Don't wait. Protect your family's internet connection today with ExpressVPN. Right now, you can get my special offer of 4 extra months with ExpressVPN. Just go to expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim for 4 extra months of privacy protection. Don't wait. Check it out right now at expressvpn.com/Kim.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Talk Back on Tuesday. Nathan Martin and Stephen Maxwell in the studio with you this morning. Terrific Tuesday with Stephen. How are you, sir?
Good. How's it going?
Good, good. You didn't have to drop off the baby this morning.
No, not today.
Yeah, so that happens. What, once a week you have to do the little daddy daycare run?
Pretty much. It might kind of slow down a bit. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, good.
When she gets back to school, we'll have to see the
glad to
schedule.
be in with you. I tuned in yesterday and heard Trish and the first couple of segments there with Al, and you came in afterwards, and it was a good way to start off the new year. And I'm looking forward to 2026. I heard you say yesterday you hadn't really had a chance to really have to write it or focus about it too much. We don't write as many checks as we used to. That was where we always made mistakes.
That's true.
Writing checks, you know.
Not a whole lot of writing, period.
And we're not in school, so we don't have to turn in papers with the date. You know? So, oh well, 2026. It'll come natural.
I'm already putting it down, I guess.
I'm
learning.
So, you're staying busy in 2026. We'll talk about some of the stories you covered here as we go along this morning, other local news and national news. Also coming up at 8 o'clock, we will have the inimitable Matt Ritchie coming in with the Central Louisiana Economic Update. Always look forward to Matt. I'm hoping he's got a big announcement for us this morning. He's teased us for a few months now, and the last show I asked him, he said, I'm so close, man. I'm so close. I hope that so close means that he's crossed the finish line. We'll find out. And other great news with Matt Ritchie coming up at 8 o'clock. Your phone calls are welcome at 318-442-8255, the BOM talk line. Appreciate BOM Bank sponsoring that line number and making sure that you get a call straight to us. My needles are not moving very much over there, so I hope people are hearing us okay. We did have a little glitch this morning at the top of the hour, but Dave Gratian, this great engineer, got us back on, and so appreciate his. I called him and he said, I'm working on it. That's how he answered the phone. I'm working on it. So I knew he was spot on. So, man, you already did your kind of over the year update, but I wasn't here yesterday. So I know that you spent a lot of time with family, and that's always enjoyable over the Christmas season and the new year. Did y'all stay up to midnight?
Yes. Yeah.
Party, huh?
We were only there for a little while. We were planning on being there the whole night, but just a little bit of sickness here and there. I didn't want to push it, but we stayed up, my wife and I and everything. So it was a good time.
I have not watched the ball drop in so many years. I could not tell you. I'm too old for that now.
I just don't. It's just so boring.
I heard Al say he'll turn it on a couple minutes before to watch it. I know him do that. I'm usually in bed. Usually I'm in bed in Mexico, and that's where I was at last week. I have spent probably last 20 years, New Year's Eve in Mexico. So I take that trip down. We had 22 people with us from several different churches that really did a great job of working at the children's home, and so appreciate all them going. Philadelphia Baptist Church was with us. Mighty Church was with us. Also had a couple of folks from Big Island Baptist Church and Kingsville Baptist Church, along with our church, Christian Challenge. So it was a great teamwork that went down and spent a week at the Children's Home in Reynosa. Headed back in May, Lord willing, and those who have been with me know the drill. If you haven't been, want to go, give me a call. I'll get you hooked up.
Were you in the same time zone, or was it
Yeah,
different?
it's the same time zone. It's right across from McAllen, Texas.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
it's about an 11-hour drive from here to get to the border, and then you're crossing and all that stuff. But it's not deep into the country. I mean, we're maybe 3 miles from the Rio Grande River, so it's just over the border.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Reynosa is now if people Google Reynosa, it comes up with a lot of cartel violence. It's one of the top do not go to cities on the U.S. State Department's website. So it can be scary on the news, but it's like any place that has violence. I mean, we have our share of it in this community. We have it, you go to New Orleans. Typically, you kind of know what areas to stay away from, and you're okay. And that's how it is with Reynosa. The violence, majority of it is between the cartels who are vying for control of the routes and the major roads. And so you just go there and hunker down and have a great week. So looking forward to going back in May, and got a lot of people already starting to sign up for that. So I am a little nervous. I mentioned this to you off air before we came on the air, that I'm headed back to Mexico next week, where I'm going down south closer to Guatemala, where I used to live. And I'm going to spend almost a week there with my wife. We're going down for the 25-year anniversary of one of our granddaughter churches, a church that was started by one of our daughter churches 25 years ago this month. And so we've been invited to be the keynote speakers for their celebration next weekend. So I'll do the show next Tuesday, have city council meeting Tuesday night. Then we'll drive to Houston after the council meeting, because our flight's early Wednesday morning. And then we'll spend through the weekend, come back the following Monday. And my nervousness comes from some of the recent comments that you're hearing about, that the action towards Venezuela could go towards Colombia, could go towards Mexico. And Mexicans don't respond very well to comments about their sovereignty or incursions into their territory. So I don't know what the sentiment will be. Even this morning on the news, heard some folks talking about if you're traveling internationally, there are protests all over the world right now, and be prepared for perhaps some anti-American sentiment. It won't be with my friends, they know me, but it just, they said in Mexico City there was a huge protest yesterday with rocks being thrown and projectiles and things like that. So makes it a little nerve-wracking, but I think hope it'll be okay.
Yeah, the president there, Sheinbaum, was saying that she hopes that nothing happens, of course, and sovereignty is very important. So even quoting George Washington.
She did, huh?
But it's just one of those things. I would say that's the least likely, but what do we know, right? They've also talked Colombia and Cuba, of course, Iran.
I think the thing that has stood out to me is that this action in Venezuela was the result of a court indictment. And so it's being presented as a Justice Department action supported by the military, not a military action. So if that's the case, we don't have any other indictments that I'm aware of against other leaders. So other leaders shouldn't be concerned. But the saber rattling continues, and that's a little bit concerning, I think.
A lot of facets to it, and, the administration is saying a bunch of things in relation to why they did that. So, we had Stephen Miller on one of the shows, I think it was CNN, yesterday, it's been rumored that he'd be the one kind of taking control of Venezuelan operations, but he says it's of the utmost importance for America's, I guess you could say, abilities to be a superpower in that region. And he goes, we believe that we have an interest there. We have an interest in Greenland. And so there's a lot of things going on, a lot of facets to it.
Hearing much more about the Greenland saber rattling going on there, and of course Denmark is not having it. That's their territory, they say, and I don't know. I don't think Greenland has 100,000 people that live in it.
Miller said about 30. I've heard 52.
What is the population of Greenland? We'll see how fast I can get that answer. So 56 to 57 is the AI response, real quick. So
he said 30 yesterday, but one thing they asked him is, would you use military force in Greenland? And he's like, no one's going to use military force against the U.S. military over Greenland. But they believe that they're going to have a good opportunity to take control of Greenland for security reasons, of course. I think they say the main reason is, interballistic continental missile. I don't even know if that's the right term, but, missile protection, and that's what they're saying. A lot of stuff going on.
So they're interesting in all that conversation, though, has been there's parts of Canada that are looking at doing a petition to pull away. Alberta, I think, is thinking about pulling away from Montreal and either creating their own country or joining America. So conversations are really being held in places that are interesting. It's the international dynamics right now are mind-boggling, to say the least. So. Yeah, Alberta is the area that has a strong secessionist sentiment, and they have a lot of oil and gas. They have a lot of the resources that the rest of Canada, Quebec. I said Montreal. I meant Quebec is the capital. But interesting to see there what happens in that conversation north of the border. And you wonder if Greenland's residents, if the 57,000 residents voted, what would they want? Where would they want to be aligned with? Nobody's really asked them. I don't know.
I don't know if it matters.
Well, we're having great conversations here. The phone line just lit up. We'll go to the line if we can get it in before this break. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Hey, good morning. Happy New Year. Thank you for taking my call. I'm a little behind because I'm listening online. But back on the Mexico issue and the unrest, I think this is stuff that needs to happen. As the left began to take control of American thought in the 70s, we began to feel embarrassed about the success that we have had. And, a lot of the argument I've had with people online is, that was Venezuelans' oil that they nationalized. It was nothing to them. It was under their feet, and they didn't have any way of getting it. They didn't even know it was there. And so in our investment around the world, as we develop things, the indigenous people, they prosper to the extent that their government doesn't steal it from them. It's not the Americans stealing from them. It's their own government stealing from them. And so anyways, with this embarrassment that swept through American thought about our success, we felt like anything they did wrong, we couldn't call them on it because it's like we infantilized them. And so we've allowed these structures, these corrupt structures, to manifest themselves. And I hope Trump takes every one of them out. I hope he goes and gets every one of those drug cartel leaders because they feel like they're impervious to any kind of answering for their crimes. A guy yelled out at Maduro's hearing yesterday, "You will pay for your crimes." I don't know if y'all heard that, but those people, if you know Stephen, you have relatives from that area. People in South and Central America and Mexico, some of them suffer a lot that they should not.
Hey, Dave, can I keep you over the break? No, it's not. I came to you really, really late. I want to continue this conversation, but I've got to take this bottom of the hour break. So if you can stay on the line, we'll come back to you right after this. More with Dave, Stephen, and Nathan right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Copper is continuing its record-breaking rally, the metal bursting through $13,000 a ton for the first time. Expectations that the Trump administration may introduce a tariff on copper have drawn huge volumes of inventory into the U.S., which could potentially leave the rest of the world short. Miners are also struggling to boost output. Checking in on your money, yesterday's rally for stocks stalling out this morning. S&P futures are set to open little changed after the Dow rose 595 points to finish out the day. Investors are looking ahead to the December jobs report this Friday. And Dell is bringing back its well-regarded XPS laptop brand after discontinuing it last year. Dell announced last January that it would be moving to a simpler naming convention. The new names such as Dell Pro and Dell Pro Max drew jeers from consumers who said the rebranding was reminiscent of some Apple products. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
From all of us at the Rapides Parish Library, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, happy all the things. This season, we want to say a huge thank you to the wonderful people of Rapides Parish for supporting your library all year long. Whether you've checked out a book, attended a program, or simply enjoyed the gift of lifelong learning, you make what we do possible. We're proud to serve this community today and every day. From our library family to yours, warm wishes for a bright and joyful holiday season.
Good morning. Here we go again, huh? More fog to start us out this morning in most areas. We'll see that'll burn off slowly, and then the skies gradually becoming sunny during the afternoon. 77 should do it for the afternoon high. And the wind definitely a factor today out of the southwest at 5 to 10. It could gust as high as 20. Tonight, fog again after midnight. We'll get down to 57. It looks like partly sunny, 78 the high Wednesday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Welcome back to Talkback. Nice return music that we have some new music for the new year. We were on the line with Dave that calls in, UPS Dave on the line with us. And I went to you really late with only about a minute before the break. And I felt like this conversation needed, it was too weighty to rush through, Dave. So let's go back. Let's go back to the last point you were making about Venezuela.
Yeah, well, it's about the Hispanics in general, the suffering that these people have faced, because ideas have consequences. And in the 70s, when we began to think that we were embarrassed for being the big colonialists, we began allowing anything they did to go. You know, Carter gave away the Panama Canal, and a lot of bad guys in that vacuum of authority, a lot of bad guys cropped up. And I know my nephew's wife, Grecia, she's from Venezuela, and her mother couldn't even come to their wedding. Hadn't even seen two of her grandchildren. My biggest connection is to Cuba through my brother's wife, Novia. And Mr. Joel, her dad, before he passed, would tell me great stories about what Cuba was like before Castro and the pain that he suffered as a political prisoner there. And he longed to go back to Cuba. He wanted to die in Cuba. And they had, I asked him about what Cuba was like, and he said, there are no beaches in the world as beautiful as Cuba's.
Wow.
And he maybe it been a conspiracy theorist, but he thought a lot of big American travel companies were helping to support Castro because he kept Cuba closed off to Americans. Because the beaches, just right there, it's 90 miles, you know. Anyways, the average people are suffering and living in ways they should not live. That is a resource-rich continent, all of the Western Hemisphere. And so those people should be allowed to develop their resources and then get the benefits from them and live like we do. I mean, there's no genetic difference between us and them. The difference is in our documentation and the system that we have. And so anyways, I'm hoping that Trump, in this little window of time that we have, where we have a guy in there who's willing to flex our muscle and he's not embarrassed about American success, I hope he relieves the suffering of millions of people in Central and South America because once the Bushes and the Obamas and the Bidens get back in there, it's not going to happen. Those elitists, they live behind the gated walls. They don't worry about the average people. So it's a golden opportunity in history, and I pray it's from the Lord. And I pray that those people like Mr. Joel and Grecia and Stephen's wife and their family, I pray they get relief that they've long deserved. Thank you for letting me speak my piece.
Thanks, Dave.
Y'all have a great day.
You too.
And I get it too, like some of the arguments we're hearing against it is, nation sovereignty, especially with Venezuela. You've seen protests. I was like, the one who's even currently technically in power, Delcy Rodriguez, Maduro, that regime, Chavez, they've been subjugating their people for decades. Yeah. They've been evil. I mean, it's disastrous.
And that's my concern is, I think so many things have been conflated in this conversation, and you're closer to Venezuela than I am, but our connections to Latin America, both of us have those. We have maybe a little bit better understanding of some of the mindset, but the claims in 2024 of a stolen election and the fact that Maduro is being brought out by judicial action because of a court indictment, and that was not nation taking over. That was not a regime toppling, because the same regime that supposedly was elected in 24 is still in power. The vice president just moves up to president. So I don't know if it's going to have the overwhelming transformational power of a regime change as long as those same families stay in charge.
A lot of people argue that they were the ones in power anyway. Cabello, Rodriguez, the other families. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, I don't think a lot of us were expecting them to snatch Maduro anyway.
No.
So, like I say, it's hard to comment on foreign policy because we're not privy.
Right.
And look, I only know what my in-laws tell me. I've never been to Venezuela, never been to South America, so I don't really know. But this is what I'm hearing. And I think it's one of those things we have to wait and give it time. Could it turn out disastrous? Probably. We've seen when other countries take over another. It's really difficult. What's his name? Elliot something. He was Trump's envoy to Venezuela at one point. He goes, there's just no way. And he supports a lot of these things. He's a neocon. There's no way that you can run a country, that America can run the country and not be there. He goes, it's just almost nearly impossible.
Elliot Abrams.
Yeah.
So and when we say that we're in charge, but we have nobody on the ground. I mean, what I heard yesterday, they said we're in charge because our Navy is just off the coast. Well, we're not really in charge of day-to-day operations. And I think there would be a huge uproar if we had gone in there and done that, kind of like what we did in Nicaragua with Noriega, although I think we immediately turned over to other, Nicaraguans. What room would we have to say anything about Ukraine or Taiwan if we went in there and we put Americans literally in charge? That would not be a healthy foreign doctrine. But the return to the Monroe Doctrine of the 1920s, which says foreign entities from outside of the Western Hemisphere need to take hands off, I personally think that's not a bad perspective.
And that's a lot of what it's about. Stephen Miller was not even really hinting. He was saying that on air yesterday. So that's what we were dealing with. And I honestly get both sides. But the argument of Venezuela's sovereignty as a country, their people, their leaders have been subjugating them forever.
I wanted to reach out. We have a local businessman in Pineville, Jorge Rocha, who's from Venezuela, and I wanted to reach out to him and just failed to do so. That's on me. But I think he's currently in Colombia because his family fled from Venezuela to Colombia. Yeah. And so, he's trying to make accommodations. I just didn't want to trouble him in the midst of all that. He did make a post last night that basically said, people who are not from Venezuela, we don't need your opinion. So if you can hear the frustration. And so I don't know where things are overall. Try to be really delicate with it. And, my perspective comes back to, all of us have a perspective of how's it going to affect us. For the average person, it's not. But when I travel to Mexico next week and I have to go through Mexico City, I wonder what kind of reception, will we be the big, bad, ugly Americans, or will we be, will it be business as normal? So, be interesting to see.
It's a difficult one.
Got to take a break. We'll be back with more conversation right after this.
KSYL. Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
Welcome back to Talk Back. I'm digging the new return music. It's just kind of like an upgrade, a fresh breath from Dave. What is interesting to me is how the tides change in the political. Everything is political in Washington, D.C. And I want to give you a quick soundbite if I can get this computer to work. Uh-oh. Hold on. I think I know I did. No, I got the mic off. Well, remember yesterday when we were having issues with the... Okay, there we go. That should work. All right, listen to this. This is Chuck Schumer from 2020.
He brags about all these things he wants to do or is doing, but his actions belie his words. Maybe the best metaphor was his claim to bring democracy to Venezuela. There was a big policy there. It flopped. If the policy was working, Juan Guaido wouldn't be in the balcony here. He'd be in Venezuela. He'd be sitting in the president's palace, or at least waging a fight to win. He's here. And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break. He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began.
So that's Chuck Schumer in 2020. And then yesterday he's, saying what a horrible job we did by going after Maduro. So it's the ideological divide is going to cause people to argue against themselves.
It's ridiculous.
It becomes nutty. Yeah. So, well, that's not the only thing going on. There's other things happening around the world and around Cenla, including in Central Louisiana, a big deal about parking at AEX. And you had an opportunity to go out yesterday and chat with, or there was a press conference, right? Where they, yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
I don't know if it's good. There's new signs up. They've changed companies when it comes to paying for your parking at Alexandria International Airport. They signed an agreement with Metropolis, so you'll see the signs on all the poles in the parking lot. Essentially, you just scan the QR code, you pay for it there, and they say it's more streamlined to where it's counting when you come in and when you come out, so you're paying the exact amount. There's no confusion there. Rates are not going up. They're actually adding hours to some of the employees working in that sector. So, yeah, just a little bit of changes there.
So there still will be an attendant when you check out?
Yeah.
But
for some time, yeah.
But then you'll have this app on your phone that basically registers when you show up.
You just drive in, drive out, put your card in. If you're not into that, they have other options and they'll guide you there. I don't want to give you the wrong information if you don't like using apps. Some people still don't. But there's other ways, too.
Okay. So you had the opportunity to go over and see them. I'm going to try to pull this up real quick to give your story, because I think that, along with the quotes from Ralph Hennessy and the folks there at the airport itself are helpful. So let's go over there right now. And I got to hit the unmute button.
We'll have the details here in just a bit. Well, AEX announced on Monday that it has changed its parking system. They're going to a new app-based way to pay. It's through a company called Metropolis. The airport and Metropolis held a news conference on Monday to discuss the details.
We're happy to announce that we've got an improved version of our ticketless parking here at the airport. It's something that we've been looking at for a while. The old system, the old vendor had a flawed system that created issues for our traveling public. We try to resolve those and get the technology improved, and we just couldn't come to terms. We sought another company that provided an app-based system that we were using, but really took care of those issues that we had. And it's a one-time seamless registration process. It's something where all we ask is that when people get here, scan the QR code. The QR code is posted in almost on every pole out here in the parking lot. Enter in the requested information. It takes about 30 seconds to register. And then once you're in the system, you come and go as many times as you like. The system automatically counts or accumulates the time that you're in the parking lot and then charges your credit card directly. Parking prices are staying the same. It's not that we're going up on the parking rates. They're staying the same. It's not as if we're laying anyone off. In fact, with Metropolis, they're actually expanding the hours. It's going from 5 days a week to 7 days a week.
Oh, and by the way, for all your roofing needs, check out Han Roofing, storm damage, installation, repairs. I don't know how I'm going to get down from here.
All right, so that was Ralph Hennessy doing most of the talking there. Interesting, previously, I think you had the first hour free, and then after that is when you would pay it. I'm assuming that process still continues. And then long-term parking, again, would be taken care of through that app as well. So nice little update there over at AEX. I will admit I shouldn't say it, but I'm driving to Houston to fly just because United is not yet in AEX, and that's who I'm flying into South Mexico with, is through United's partner families. And so it made no sense it was significantly more to go through Delta for part of the leg and then United for part of the leg. So unfortunately, this particular time, but I am super excited about United coming back, because that's the company I typically use flying to Mexico and in other Latin American countries I visit.
Nothing more annoying to me than a long flight than driving home from Houston or New Orleans or Dallas.
If I remember right, I think I get in next week around, we'll arrive in Houston around 6:30, something like that. And then got to go through customs and immigration, get luggage and everything. And so it'll be 10, 11 o'clock getting home.
How much different geographically is it from South Mexico to North Mexico, the two places?
It's a little more than 1,000 miles from the border to where I'll be in South Mexico.
Oh, okay.
I'll be in the state which borders Guatemala. So that's Chiapas is where I'm landing. And then we're driving back about 3 hours to the state of southern Veracruz, the very southern tip of Veracruz state. So Chiapas is, the only downside about it is I'm just landing there, the airport, and spending the night, and then we'll drive back. But when I go donate blood, I have to let them know that I've been in the state of Chiapas, which is a malaria zone. So I can't give blood for like 3 months after I've been to Chiapas. So
dang,
kind of things being every now and then. I'm trying to be generous on that part of things. So my wife and I both do try to give blood regularly, because it's a good way to be a blessing to somebody else.
Yeah, for sure.
We ought to get somebody from the blood bank on and kind of explain that whole system, because that's a very important system. And they, from time to time, you'll see them posting, "Hey, we got an emergency. We're really in desperate need," or supplies are low, and they need it every single day. I don't think the storage shelf life is very long on that product. So
yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, that's that kind of talks about the AEX stuff. Hey, did you get any updates about that fatal fire in Alexandria? You had posted that they were investigating a fatal fire. Alexandria Fire Department was investigating a fire on Laurel Street. Any follow-up from them?
That's the only thing I know right now.
Sometimes those investigations can take a little while.
Take some time. We'll reach out, though.
Yeah, that was I think that was yesterday that the fire was discovered early in the morning, and fire crews got there really quickly. I think within just a couple of minutes of the call, but it was a trailer house, a mobile home, and unfortunately those have a tendency of going up pretty quickly. And at least one individual was discovered that succumbed to their injuries, and we're so sorry to hear about that. All right, we're going to take our final break of the hour. We'll come back, chat about a couple other things, including a great place to eat in Pineville, before we get Matt Ritchie coming home at the top of the hour. Stick around. We've got more on Talkback.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
You too could have a beautiful smile in as little as 12 weeks. Exclusive to Today's Dental in Pineville, Virtual Align Clear Aligners, the fastest, most convenient, affordable way to straighten your teeth for people on the go. Plus, they're invisible. No one will know you're doing it. Experience the Virtual Align difference. Call Today's Dental at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540.
When you think of real estate, one name is at the top of the list: Ritchie Real Estate. Matt and his team are experts when buying and selling homes, businesses, land, leases, or even industrial buildings. And at Ritchie Real Estate, they can even handle all of your property management needs. They make the entire process easy and as stress-free as possible. They are your full-service choice for anything in real estate. Trust the professionals and find them online at ritchierealestate.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, it was important for my business to start strong.
Starting week is not recommended.
But
First, I needed a lot of stuff for the office.
Sounds like a shopping spree.
I just went to Staples. They have great prices on everything, like ink, toner, printers, paper and chairs. And now you can get up to 30% off select HP printers.
Up to 30% off HP printers. Am I on a hidden camera show?
No.
Well then, let's go Staples. That was easy. Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 131, select models only.
Turn up the volume and pick up $500 Frenzy from the lottery. Win up to 15 times. Loaded with $500 prizes. Stop at your favorite lottery retailer and ask for $500 Frenzy today for your chance to win. Big scratch, big cash. Get into extreme mode and play $500,000 extreme cash from the lottery. Win up to 20 times. Top prize is a whopping $500,000. Louisiana Lottery, celebrating 35 years of reasons to smile. Must be at least 21 to purchase.
From America's #1 travel radio show, this is your RM World Travel Minutes. I'm Mary Carey. Happy New Year. This is expected to be a big year for travel. With America celebrating 250 years, there will be a lot of activities and events around the country that are going to celebrate all of this. We're going to cover many of these events on our show. Stay tuned. So where are you going this year? Where do you want to go? Italy is always popular, and with UNESCO naming Italian food as the first national cuisine recognized as their intangible cultural heritage, that certainly won't hurt their already robust tourism. Setting travel goals is always fun, and there's a lot of research out there showing that the planning and anticipation of a trip can reduce stress and bring you a lot of happiness with something to look forward to down the road. And you don't have to set unrealistic travel goals. Sometimes all it takes is a quick getaway to a town in your state, and that can be all you need to recharge and de-stress. So whatever you're planning for 2026 and wherever you're going, we wish you a lot of fun travel planning as we start the new year, and be sure to check out all of our travel info at rmworldtravel.com. Happy travels, everyone.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
Welcome back to Talkback, the final segment of the hour. And let's go back to the phone line. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Nathan and Steven.
Yeah, what was that about the parking garage and issues with getting paid or whatever it was?
So that's the parking lot at AEX Airport, where they're changing to a new system that will make it easier for people to check in and pay through their app, record their visits, that type of thing. Stephen covered their press conference yesterday where they're rolling out this new system at the airport.
Okay, well, the main reason I called was, what's it? They call it with Facebook scrolling.
Yeah, doom scrolling.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, I'm scrolling through that sucker, and there's some guy riding around Alexandria on YouTube, and he's in the poorer section of town, not necessarily the better section, and saying that according to FBI statistics, Alexandria is the second worst city in the country with respect to crime per 1,000.
I saw that report. That's certainly disconcerting to see that number on a per capita basis is what they're saying. So I did see that.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I think New Orleans has got problems too, but I don't know. Maybe we need the National Guard in Alexandria.
You know, I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that there is some disparity in the reporting because not all departments report the same way. And I will say kudos to Mayor Roy and Police Chief Grimion because they have committed themselves to transparency and reporting thoroughly. And what you may have is a sense of some cities not reporting or reclassifying, and Alexander reporting as transparently as possible. I don't know if that's the reason for it, but it could contribute to that number.
Well, if Alexandria is theoretically 20 as opposed to number 2, it's still not very good.
Right. Well, there's no doubt there's a concern, and I know there are civic leaders involved. I got a lot of pastors that are talking about strategies, trying to strengthen the home and trying to do interventions at the middle school level so that you can divert some of these folks who end up going on a wrong path. Employment has always been an issue. If you can make more money selling drugs than you can working at entry-level jobs, then unfortunately some are going to choose those options. So,
yeah, well, I just wonder whether or not Mr. Maxwell is going to do a story about that particular YouTube, in quotes, put out legitimate facts.
Yeah, if you could find that link and send it to us.
I haven't seen it. I don't even know what it is. Sorry.
Well, I
Thanks for letting me know.
I wouldn't even know how to find a link to send it to you.
I'll try and find it. I'll try and find it.
I mean, I get Steven's stuff. I don't think I ever asked to get it, but I like to see it.
Just kind of pops up.
Well,
was it a recent video? Did you notice, or was it older?
I saw it on Saturday and saw it again on Sunday.
Okay. I'll try and find it.
But anyway, it's the kind of thing. As a matter of fact, I think it was shared by somebody. I guess, I don't know how many friends I have, maybe a kajillion. However that stuff works. But anyway,
well, they definitely use algorithms to share things they think you'd be interested in. I did recently come across a YouTube page for somebody who had recently moved back to Alexandria and was trying to do like a video blog a day about life in Alexandria in the minority community. And I've got to find that link because I was interested and subscribed to it. So I don't know if it's the same person or not, but we'll see if we can find that. Thank you for that tip.
Sure. I'll catch you later.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your call. As always, 318-442-8255, the BOM talk line. We appreciate your phone calls. Hey, I teased that we would talk about a great place to eat in Pineville. You did a story on Habibi's Express over in Pineville, and it sounds like you got full and enjoyed it.
I loved it. I've loved it for years. They recently moved to Pineville about 10 months ago. And, I'm just going to say their food is hard to beat.
I remember when they were only in Marksville, and maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they won like almost, it seemed like every category in the Town Talks, readers, whatever. And I thought, what? And I kept wanting to go. We just never went. And when they opened up the Habibi's Express, is what it's called, in Pineville, I saw why. Because my wife and I have eaten there many times. We enjoy it very much. And encourage people to give it a shot. If you've never tried it, chicken shawarma.
Beef kebab is where it's at,
beef
buddy.
Kebab is really good.
Or the lamb.
Yeah, their hummus is wonderful. It's a good hummus. I mean, there are different levels, and theirs is a very good.
It's pretty good.
It's addictive a little bit. All right, so sticking around to it. Speaking of addictive, we've got Matt Ritchie coming up. We're addicted to his information on the Central Louisiana Economic Update. Come back for Matt Ritchie and more on Talkback.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting.
AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3, HD3, Alexandria.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin with Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, who's speaking out about yesterday's censure by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth over a November video featuring the former Navy pilot and other Democrats reminding military members they have the right to refuse illegal orders from the Trump administration. Kelly tells CBS Mornings.
Let me tell you what this is about. This is pretty simple. This is about stifling people's speech.
He calls the move outrageous and un-American. CBS News national security consultant Jeff McCausland.
Kelly has said that he will fight this, every step of the way, and I'm sure will seek significant legal counsel, beginning with whether or not this is even legal to be done, as well as attacking the merits of the accusations in terms of he did something criminal.
Response mixed after top Trump administration officials briefed congressional leaders on the U.S. operation that led to the arrest of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
The president used his authority under the law. He did so in a way that caused no casualties on the American side and got the job done with exquisite intelligence and extreme precision that can only be done by the U.S.
Today marks 5 years since the riot at the Capitol. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
With Congress under Republican control, there are no public ceremonies or memorials on the House or Senate floor or in the rotunda honoring the 140-plus police officers injured January 6, 2021. House Democrats are having a public meeting with testimony from some of the witnesses and some of the victims of January 6th. Meanwhile, some of the pardoned rioters are marching to the Capitol midday. They say it'll be a peaceful memorial march.
Police in Ohio are hoping surveillance video will help lead them to a suspect in the murders of a dentist and his wife. CBS's Tom Hansen.
In the footage released by Columbus police, you can see an individual walking in the alley near the couple's home between the hours of 2 and 5 a.m. on December 30th. That's when police believe they were killed.
The couple's 1- and 4-year-old children were home at the time. They were not injured. It's all about the bots as the Consumer Electronics Show opens in Las Vegas today. CBS's Jesse Mitchell takes a peek.
Hyundai-owned Boston Dynamics and LG showed off their latest humanoid robots. NVIDIA also brought out its new tiny robots as its CEO played up the company's next-generation chips and announced that its AI technology is taking on autonomous driving systems.
Dow futures are down 32 after yesterday's big gains. S&P futures up 1. Nas futures ahead 38. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com.
I'm like, yeah, we get it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-959-3388. That's 800-959-3388.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Sean Burns. A package of auto insurance reform bills went into effect January 1st. Many are wondering if they'll reduce auto insurance premiums in Louisiana. Independent insurance agents and broker of Louisiana outright a law that prevents drivers responsible for at least 51% of an accident from receiving a damage award to cover their injuries should help.
So you can't cause the accident and then go sue to recover your injuries, right? Which I think makes sense, but was not the case before this law.
It's no surprise that reaction to the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro by U.S. troops has split down party lines. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy.
I joined President Trump in congratulating our armed services, who was able to extract the illegitimate head of the Venezuelan government and bring him to the United States for justice.
But Democrats like Congressman Troy Carter say the action was unconstitutional and will ultimately put Americans at risk.
Question of taking down a bad actor is not the issue here, it's the process.
LRN.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Sinaloa's best at Mercado's restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt in your mouth, pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Mercado's Restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Good morning. Here we go again, huh? More fog to start us out this morning in most areas. We'll see that'll burn off slowly, and then the skies gradually becoming sunny during the afternoon. 77 should do it for the afternoon high. And the wind definitely a factor today out of the southwest at 5 to 10. It could gust as high as 20. Tonight, fog again after midnight. We'll be down to 57. It looks like partly sunny, 78 the high Wednesday. From the Zenlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Big Grayson.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to Talk Back on Tuesday morning.
And it's time to feed our addiction to Matt Ritchie's Central Louisiana Economic Update. Good morning, Matt. How are you, sir?
Fantastic.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you. What a great show. What a great, lot of things. We got a lot of good things to talk about. I will go ahead and say we're starting the 6th year of the show.
Wow.
We started in 2020, January 2020, cool. And I cannot believe it's been that long. But it's been a fantastic 5+ years ride, and so starting our 6th year, hopefully the semi-broadcasting will keep me on. I enjoy doing it. I really do. I get so much public feedback. Everyone, you know what it's like. And Norton, Nathan, you do too, and Stephen. You're out in the community, people talk about it, they just the interaction with folks, and then just the fact that I get to deliver some things that because I just pay attention. I tell people this often. I don't know. I'm not really good at a lot of things, but I study real estate and I study this market. 99.9% of my investments are here in Central Louisiana, and so obviously that's where I'm, and that's where I stay. As a matter of fact, I was talking with a person yesterday asking me to look at some stuff over in Texas and seeing if I had some interest in other markets. And I said, no. I said, look, Central Louisiana is my sandbox. I'm in every asset class. I know our market. I know it well. I'm comfortable with it. I believe in it, and it's stable. And so I continue just to be here. I don't need to go to other markets, and I'm comfortable with that. So love Central Louisiana, and I want to keep growing it. And doing positive change. And we've got a lot of good things to talk about the show. We've got the largest, I think, the largest price per acre transaction that Rapides Parish has ever seen. I'm going to talk about the largest transaction this show. We do have a new announcement. We're going to talk about a new retailer coming to Pineville in the Pine Shopping Center.
Ooh, my hair standing.
And several other good sales. And good things that I think that happened toward the last 2 weeks of December, and just a good show.
That's
good show. So we also invite our callers.
Yeah, 318-442-8255, the BLM talk line. Give Matt a call. I did want to tell you that my 16-year-old son has been asking me lots of questions about you. And you've become a little bit of a role model to him because of how you got into real estate in college. And so he's been asking me if he can do the same thing. And I'm like, well, sure.
Absolutely. So, tell him to call me just to set up I'll meet with him and just kind of give him the whole run of the gamut and see where he goes.
Well, he hears me talk about you a lot, and so he's been asking a lot of questions, and I think that's phenomenal that he would be thinking that way at 16. So.
Absolutely, I do too, because there's a lot of 20-year-olds and graduating college and still not sure what path they want to go down, and I talked to a lot of those folks too. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the largest price per acre transaction that Rapides Parish, to my knowledge, if there's a listener out there, or if someone else out there knows of a higher sale, please let me know. But it's about a $40,000 per acre price per acre. And so you go, well, I've seen properties sell for more than that, but not when there's 640 acres. There's a $26,900,000 sale that just took place, and at the end of the year, and a company called Applied Digital is the one. So you look up who's at Applied Digital, you start looking them up. They're a data center developer, and so I do know this. I do know that Mike Haynes actually was involved in the transaction. So congratulations to Mike Haynes. Anybody that knows Mike, Mike's been in the real estate business for 50+ years here in the market, a commercial appraiser, just active in the market for a long, long time. So congratulations to Mike for that sale. But Applied Digital, and you may say, well, where is 600+ acres in Rapides Parish that would have sold to that? It butts up right next to the Rotomaker Eco plant, which makes a lot of sense because if you study or if you've started digging into what data center developers look for, they look energy, the proximity to energy and be able to get electricity is obviously that's one of the first almost non-starters. If you don't have that, you really don't have the ability to have a data center and energize it and fuel it. Second, the ability to have access to water. And, so there's water that's very close to the river. And then, so Applied Digital, their stock ticker is APLD. So if you want to look them up, I looked them up, and it said that APLD shares were currently trending. And then it also says that, the stock has surged 94% over the past 3 months, leading to discussions about its valuation and potential for future growth. I would imagine they probably announced some new projects, and that's what surged their stock price. And so you can look them up. Just Google APLD and look at their stock price. I'm certainly not in the stock business by any means. As a matter of fact, I was on a bank board that I got stock by virtue of a referral system, a referring business years ago, probably about 17, 18 years ago. And so that's the only stock I own. Actually, I'm all in real estate. And so I'm certainly not giving stock advice. Don't know anything about this company. I'm just giving you some facts. I'm just giving you the data that this company just invested $26 million, almost just under $27 million in Boyce, Louisiana. And you would think that they're going to build a data center and making the plan. There's a lot of companies that go out, and there's a lot of developers that go out, and they'll go out and option land. They'll go out and option it, and they may put a option for a big ticket price. And then what they do is once they get it under control, then they'll go out and try to find a user for it or a buyer for it. And I see that a lot. A lot of folks come in, they're not willing to really put any real money in together. They're not really willing to close on the property. They just want an option to be able to have control of the property to then turn around and go do something. These guys actually closed on it. And I heard about this about a year ago. When I heard the price, I did not believe it, because it's an extraordinary price, sales price for farmland, because that's what it is. It's farmland right there in Boyce, butts up to the Rodemaker plant. And so we just, obviously, if you just look at those facts, we should see a data center there. And, and obviously those who aren't familiar with the data center, trend that's happening in Louisiana, they have one of the largest data center project in the United States happening just an hour and 40 minutes north of us on I-20, just east of Monroe. And I've driven up there and looked at that site. Unbelievable amount of site work, and it once it's built, it's going to be an incredible, just a massive, really unimaginable building that they're going to house all this, these digital brains inside of. And so that looks like we may have. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to do that size project here in Boyce. But there are data centers that are being built all over the country in various different sizes. And so, do we have a caller?
We do. You want to take that?
Yeah, let's
jump on the line real quick. Good morning. You're on the line with Matt Ritchie.
Okay. You mentioned that the Red River is close to this site where they're going to put in the alleged unit. The reason why Rodemaker has its own lake is because there's too much mineral in the Red River. That's also the reason why, if that unit at Beaver Lake goes in, they're going to...
We lost you. You said that's the reason why the unit at Beaver Lake, and we lost you after that, caller. Are you still there?
Okay, in other words, what they have to do is they have to run a pipeline across the Red River out to get deep water groundwater. Now, I don't know where those people with their AI center are going to get their water, but unless they have some super duper system, they probably cannot use Red River water.
Interesting.
Well, and you may or may not be right. My point is just looking at what I know that they're looking for when they are identifying sites in the site selection process. And look, and I would imagine if they've spent almost $27 million, they figured out their water source. And so I don't know where they're going to I don't know where they're going to get it at, but no, I appreciate your perspective on that.
Well, the thing is that they're talking about gajillions of gallons of groundwater. What does that do for our aquifer and for our potable water?
Yeah, I'm not. I truly don't. I don't know where. I'm not familiar with the wells and the groundwater usage of what they're doing, because I know that they are trying to be locate somewhere in the proximity of bodies of water. I just don't know. I don't know the specifics enough to be able to talk really.
Yeah, I do know the IP site bought their water from the city of Alexandria. The pipeline is already there under the river.
Right.
And I think that's what Beaver Lake plans to do, is continue that contract. Don't know what this would do over here, if they're going to have a contract with Cleco for the lake or some deep aquifer that's out there. But a great call. Thank you, Merrick's caller, for that opportunity to visit with you. And Matt, as we continue, we're going to have to take a break in about 2 minutes, but any other thoughts about that?
Yeah, no, I'll just wrap up. It was actually Rex Young out of Coshada is the one who sold. It was actually, like I said, it was $26,900,600. And the largest sale that I'm aware of actually in 2025.
And you've seen a lot of sales in your history, so that's a lot of zeros on that number.
That's a lot of zeros. And
that was a single owner.
And that was
multiple pieces of land.
Right, and it was part of a 672-acre tract. I think it was about 640 acres, but it's just a tremendous sale, life-changing sale, obviously for his family, and obviously converting farmland, and it's an interesting spot, and so it'll be interesting to see how that develops. I will make a note, and I also I really like to always remind folks of this. We've had the industry come into the market and spend millions and millions of dollars like this, and never do a project. And I go back to Sundrop Fuels, who bought Ballina Farms, who bought the former Cowboy Town building. They assembled those two properties over about a 4-year period. They invested over $20 million between buying the real estate and all the what they call the soft costs, the planning on paper of the project, and they never did it. And so I want to be optimistic. We obviously want projects, we want economic development, we want jobs, we want this, and I hope this is a sign that this project's going to take off. Anytime anybody spends $27 million, you would think that they've done enough due diligence that's actually going to happen. So, but we'll leave it at that. I thought that was an exciting transaction to start off the new year. And we've got a lot of other transactions to talk about when we come back.
Back with more with Matt Ritchie right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with The Clinics. We provide primary, family, and chronic care along with gastroenterology, podiatry, with on-site lab and x-ray services. I'm pleased to welcome family physician Dr. Noah Miller to our team. We are currently accepting new patients and same-day appointments are available. If you're admitted into the hospital, our doctors will see you there as well. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics on North Dalton, 445-9823, and online at theclinics.us.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
Welcome back to Talk Back, where we're chatting about all kinds of great deals around the area. We started out with the biggest land sale, dollar sale in the Rapides Parish, in the history of Rapides Parish, $26 million for 600 acres of land.
And that was a price per acre sale.
Yeah, right.
Of $40,000. Yeah.
So, and again, everything you're sharing is public information. There's no proprietary or privileged information. And so then the question coming out of that is that everything else is speculation as to what, based on who bought it, what they might be doing.
That's correct. Thank you for that. That's a good, Nathan. Good clarification of that. Yeah, the sale is public knowledge. What else happens and what I'm saying is obviously all just speculation and then just through my lens of what I see happening. So another big transaction that I say it's a transaction. It's not a huge transaction. It's huge to me. It's something I've been working on for 3 years, and that is the redevelopment of the Pine Shopping Center. And the Pine Shopping Center is at the corner of 165 and 167 for those who just need a frame of reference. There's a used to be Kmart there, and that's in Pineville. And there's about a 27,000 square foot strip center there with small shops, and then their Super One Foods is located there. They're the anchor grocery store tenant, and there's been a lot of activity right around in that little cluster right there. You got you've got Petron that's built about a 30,000 square foot of small shop retail space across the street. They just did a build to suit for Freddy's, and so there's a lot of things going on right there. About 2 months ago, I guess it's been 2, maybe 3 months ago, we announced that TJ Maxx is going to be a new tenant in there. And if you've driven by there lately, you can see where we've actually we've done a lot of work to reconstruct the entrance for TJ Maxx. They're gonna be taking the entrance where Kmart was, and then inside you won't be able to see it from the outside, but obviously inside we built a wall about 240 feet long, fire rated wall. That's going to separate 2 more spaces in that space, because of the 55,000 square feet that Kmart was remaining in the Kmart space, we have 2 more national retailers that we've been courting. And last year, actually the fall of 24, we almost had a deal with Harbor Freight. And Harbor Freight, I did announce that because they officially terminated their lease negotiations with me towards the end of 24. We were all saddened by that, because that was the first national tenant. That's before I even had TJ Maxx going on. So long story short, 3 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, the Harbor Freight people called back, and they said, hey, the dust has settled. We understand the tariffs now. We understand how our how our product flow is going to work. We have a better grip on that. Of the 100 stores, then this is important. Of the 100 stores that we were going to open in 24, or that we were going to open in 25, that we had to cancel every one of them. Mm-hmm. We've selected 20 locations across the country who we think would be the highest performing stores of that 100. And you're one of them. Come on. And we want to open that store. If you will agree to the same terms, if you will agree to basically the same deal, we just pick back up to where we were about to sign a lease anyway. We'll do it. And obviously we're excited about it. And so I can tell you that over the last 90 days, attorneys have been flying paperwork back and forth and emails and different layers of the bureaucracy of corporate America, of Harbor Freight's corporate chain. We signed some leases last week, and so we're just waiting for final circulation to actually get the memo where we can actually go record a part of the lease in the courthouse. But we actually now we're going to see a Harbor Freight in Pineville, Louisiana. Oh man! And I think, in my negotiation, I told him, and he, they think Alexandria's a bigger market, but I told him, so look, that Pineville store is going to do very, very well. Matter of fact, my predictions is going to be doing way better than the Power Center store, and so I try to negotiate a percentage lease. That's how strong I feel that it's going to do well. Right. Let's negotiate the lease based off the performance of the sales, not necessarily just a flat rent. I wasn't able to accomplish that, but that's how much I believed in it. So we did negotiate just a flat rent, and we're happy to have them there. We're in there working right now, and so they want to be open by April. So they're going to be open. That's how quick they move. They're actually going to come in. Their target dates to be working inside their space by mid-February, and they can turn their spaces around in about 60 days, he said. So you'll see a lot of activity there this spring, and it's possible, even though they came late to the game, even after TJ Maxx, it's possible they may actually be open before TJ Maxx opens. And then we have one more spot in between TJ Maxx and Harbor Freight, because Harbor Freight's going to take the corner, and the corner is where the end of the building where the old lawn and garden used to be for the Kmart. And so you'll see actually a double entry there. We designed it's going to look. I've got all the plans. They're in color. It's going to look really, really nice right there on the corner, and really branded well. Nice entranceways, and so that'll be fun to see that redevelopment of that entire project happen. It's taken us about 3 years to do it, but we're finally getting there. But we do have, I'll tell anybody out there, because I know we had a local retailer inquire about spaces that we had in there. We have about 14,000 feet left over that'll be sandwiched between Harbor Freight and TJ Maxx. And we are working with a national tenant right now. I'm not saying we're not, but that deal's not inked, and I'm always looking at every deal until a deal's inked. But we have about 14,000 feet. There's going to be a lot of new traffic driven there with TJ Maxx and Harbor Freight. So if you're a local retailer, you're thinking about expanding, you're thinking about being in a high retail area, that's definitely something you may want to call us and talk about, because it's priced reasonably. And
that spot's not gold. That spot's bullion.
It's really going to be a really good spot. And so that's going to transform that whole center. And then obviously, that'll just be good for everybody.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Harbor Freight coming to Pineville. Matt and Richie, you've been working on this deal for 3 years, and you wouldn't talk about it until you had ink on paper and you have signed the lease.
I've signed the lease, and it's finally done. And I've just I've got to. I'm so cautious about that.
I need some balloons to fall from the sky and some confetti in here, because that's really big.
Yeah, no, it's big for the center. It's big for Kings Country. It's big for Pineville. I mean, just increasing the tax base of the retailers there in the former Kmart between TJ Maxx, Harbor Freight, and hopefully the next retailer we have in there, because all those stores do several $1 million a year, and think about the tax base it adds to it.
Well, the sales taxes will be a big shot in the arm for the city. You went out on a limb a while back and made some parking lot improvements, put in some islands, put in some new lighting.
Yeah.
I mean, you really, truly believe that this would become a reality. And I know for a long time, people drove by, they need to do something there. They need to do something there. And you're like, I'm working on it.
Yeah, I'm working on it. And look, and you'll see a lot of other improvements. We're going to go in and actually now we're going to let all the construction happen.
Right.
And we'll go in and actually landscape those islands, plant some trees, restripe everything, and really, really make it a nice looking place. We got a new sign going up. I know someone called me. So we had a caller call in maybe about a year or two ago, and I mentioned the sign, and I had already had plans on doing it, but I didn't want to do it until we actually had all these new tenants, because a sign like that's not cheap. It's a pretty expensive endeavor, and so we're going to have a new LED lit sign, and it'll be nice.
And perfect timing with the DOT construction wrapping up the next couple of months.
Yeah, it seems like you think somebody planned all that.
Must be a praying man over here, I tell you. That's exciting. I mean, it's exciting for the community to have, and I think it's not exciting for my pocketbook, because I know that a lot more dollars will be going to Harbor Freight now, because will be easier to get to. But that and TJ Maxx, I know people are excited. What type of local place would be looking for 10,000 square feet? We got about a minute.
Furniture store. I think, I believe, and I know, we only have a really one local sporting goods store, but I think a sporting goods store would do very, very well in that location. I think, 10,000 feet is just kind of an odd, is
that too big for a restaurant?
Yes. Most restaurants are generally, most sit-down restaurants are generally somewhere between 3,000 to 4,000 square feet.
If they want to be big like that, like a Calle Fuego or something, they want to be standalone by themselves.
Yeah, those typically. And we don't really have the parking for restaurants in that space. But and then there are limited, parking intensive tenants are not ideal tenants for shopping centers. Like, as a matter of fact, in a lot of the leases, we can't, I couldn't lease to a church if I wanted to. I couldn't lease to a school if I wanted to. And then obviously some of the other.
Is it too small for a gym?
It is not too small for a gym, but because gyms produce a lot of parking, parking intensive, the neighbors don't like it.
I got you.
So
right.
like Harbor Freight wouldn't come if I put Planet Fitness in there.
Right.
Which that was actually a real scenario. We were going back and forth. We had a Planet Fitness operator want to be in there, but they wouldn't come in there, or Harbor Freight and TJ wouldn't come if I had a gym.
Yeah.
So I had to dismiss the Planet Fitness
to
get two. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
we got
Matt Ritchie.
Lots of new sales to talk about when we come back.
Back with more than Matt right after this.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The world's most valuable company is on shaky stock market footing as the year gets underway. Shares of NVIDIA are down more than 9% since hitting a record in late October. Investors have been concerned about the chip giant's grip on the artificial intelligence market as it faces more competition from rivals. But keep in mind, NVIDIA has soared nearly 1,200% in the past 3 years. Oil stocks jumped yesterday after President Trump pledged to revive the Venezuelan energy sector. Shares of Chevron, which is the only American oil major currently operating in the nation, surged more than 5%. The largest oil service companies, including Halliburton, also saw big gains in trading. And copper extended its powerful rally after bursting through $13,000 a ton for the first time, with investors betting on a tighter market. Concerns the Trump administration may introduce a tariff on refined metals has drawn huge volumes of inventory into the U.S., potentially leaving the rest of the world short as miners struggle to boost output. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
Blended families, bonus children, and co-parenting can bring amazing experiences, but it can also be overwhelming and complicate your estate plan. How can families navigate the process when entering into this wonderful journey? I'm George Fine with Fine Legal Services. When it comes to your family's questions, our team can make planning for the future seamless and transparent. Call your Alexandria, Louisiana attorneys, George Fine and Jeremy Cedars, at 318-767-2226 to learn more, or visit fine-lawyers.com.
LSBA number LA2316294.
Good news, y'all. The gumbo is back at Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express. Come out to the corner of North MacArthur and Bayou Rapides and get you some. Wilmore's is the place for lunch. Gumbo, a selection of crisp, fresh salads like garden, chef tuna or chicken, hot or cold sub sandwiches made with ham, turkey, or roast beef, Italian, chicken, or club subs. And don't forget their hamburgers. Give Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express a try for lunch. You'll thank me later on North MacArthur Drive at Bayou Rapides Road.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless has you paying for more data than you might need. Why? They might want you to cover the cost of younger people who do use all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. We've heard time and time again that some Big Wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the Big Wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Well, good morning. Here we go again, huh? More fog to start us out this morning in most areas. We'll see that'll burn off slowly, and then the skies gradually becoming sunny during the afternoon. 77 should do it for the afternoon high. And the wind definitely a factor today out of the southwest at 5 to 10. It could gust as high as 20. Tonight, fog again after midnight. We'll get down to 57. It looks like partly sunny, 78 to high Wednesday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
Welcome back to Talk Back, where we're talking with Matt Ritchie, who's brought us the biggest deal in the history per acre of Rapides Parish. Exciting news there. He's also talked to us about the breaking news of Harbor Freight coming to Pineville. He's brought TJ Maxx to Pineville. I don't know how you top all that. I really don't. And that $26 million sale was Christmas week.
It was Christmas week. Yeah. Look, a lot of big deals. I mean, you may not have a lot of volume of deals, but sometimes you see some big deals towards the end of the year because they need to close for whatever reason. Maybe through a 1031 exchange, someone has to, make the deal happen before the end of the year, or just a variety of different reasons. But look, we've got this. We're not done yet, Nathan. We've got another big sale. we're going to move across the parish. We're going to move south to the parish, and we had about a 20-acre tract. This is exciting news for the town of Woodworth. Woodworth, I know they've been working on this project for a while, but it's a little over 20-acre tract on Highway 165 for $1.2 million. That's a large land sale for, it's a big land sale for South Rapides and the town of Woodworth. I believe from this rumor, from what I hear, is that's going to be a D.R. Horton subdivision, and which is going to mean that they're going to probably put somewhere between 120 to 150 single family homes in there. Cheryl Banks out of Dallas, Texas, and her family sells to Woodworth Development out of Lafayette, Louisiana, which like I said, it was a 20.7 acre tract for $1.2 million, and you will see. And so if you're going past, if you're going south on 165, you pass up the school, you pass up Cooley Crossing, you pass up, there's some storage units there. There's a little subdivision to the left. I'm trying to think of the name of it. But right past there's a patch of woods on the left before you get into the town of Woodworth, and it's just to your left, and that's where you're going to see that new development. And what happens is D.R. Horton, it's sold to Woodworth Development, and the way D.R. Horton works is they have a handful of developers that they say, look, we want to develop this many lots and this many. D.R. Horton only builds houses. They want to build this many houses on this size lot in this area, and they just go deploy these independent, third-party developers who they have relationships with, who they've done deals with, who they trust that's going to go in and deliver a good product. And what they do is so that developer probably worked hand in hand with D.R. Horton along the way to make sure that site was where they wanted to be at, to make sure that all the boxes were checked. And the developer goes in, takes it down, goes through the whole planning process, the permitting, planning commission, STAR committee, planning commission, permitting processes, actually builds all the infrastructure, does all the site work, clears it, does all the site work, puts all the streets in, all the infrastructure. And then once all that's done, then once the lots are actually ready to build on, then they all sell a phase to the developer will sell a phase to D.R. Horton, and then D.R. Horton goes in and they'll go build, probably 30, 40 houses, phase one. And we saw this and we watched it over off of Bayou Rapides in a little town, in a little neighborhood because they call it Old Town. And if you watch that, and that probably took 3 to 4 years to fully develop out. If my memory serves me right, I think this is probably a 3 or 4 year process. And so that same process will happen, and then so you'll end up having a bunch of I would think probably somewhere between $250,000 to $350,000 homes, which is a much needed price range in our market that no local builders are servicing. So D.R. Horton sees the need. They come in, they see there's a demand, and they're going to try to fill it. So congratulations.
Mayor Butler will serve them.
Yeah, and I'm sure. And look, I know Mayor's been really involved in that process, and I'm sure he is rolling out the red carpet for any new development, as he does with most developers. That if you go to Good Woodworth, he will try to make it as easy as possible for you to come in, because he wants to see growth and see development. So congratulations to the mayor for that sale, and congratulations to all involved. I think it'll be another good, that'll add a new tax base not only to the town of Woodworth, but also to Rapides Parish, and provide a place for another 100 and some odd families to make home. So we have more deals to talk about when we come back.
KSYL.
Finding the right catering service with the right menu can be overwhelming. When it comes to catering, you should always serve Louisiana's best. Cole's Barbecue and Steakhouse. Cole's Barbecue and Steakhouse has all chef-prepared and freshly served food for you and your guests. Let it be special. Let Cole's cater your next event or family gathering. Call 613-8800 or visit colesbbq.com for their catering menu.
A message from Israel Air Conditioning and Heating.
Yeah, my mama, she told me to pick up and call Israel Air.
She told me Israel Air.
She said they'll come running with comfort beyond compare.
At a very fair price.
Because you know we're all about your comfort, no troubles. Call 442-6657. That's 442-6657. We're all about your comfort.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Welcome back to Talk Back for this terrific Tuesday. And it's even more terrific because Matt Ritchie's in the studio helping us out here, know all the good things, bringing us the amazing number of sales and developments that have happened at the end of the year. When most of us think that things slow down, real estate folks are just revving it up. And now y'all ready for a big 2026.
There's high hopes for 26. We already see interest rates have slowly decline, not drastically, but slowly ticking downward in 25. And so the real estate industry as a whole is optimistic that we're going to see a rebound with interest rates, a rebound in volume, let's put it that way, in the market, and we'll continue to see interest rates slowly tick down, and then probably stabilize somewhere in the mid to high fives and low sixes. It'll be plus or minus 6. This is the prediction. I want to go back to the Woodworth deal because I think this is important, because I don't think most people realize the amount of investment that a developer makes when they go in and build these streets and subdivisions. So when you see a piece of ground purchased, and then you see land being cleared, and then you see water lines and sewer lines and underground drainage all being installed, and then you see concrete or asphalt roads and curbs being put in, and there's no house on it without a lot being sold. I just want to, the mortgage that this Woodworth Development LLC out of Lafayette took out was $3,644,000. And so, that was a $1.2 million sale. So I would imagine the land was included in that. But then there's another $2.4 million plus invested into the infrastructure of a neighborhood. So, when you start seeing land prices and lot prices, a lot of folks have a tendency to say, oh, these developers are just making a lot of, developers taking a lot of risk. And there, even though D.R. Horton has a deal handshake with these guys, it's not guaranteed. And so it's a big risk. And so anytime you see a developer go do any type of that, on speculation, they've got a lot of money and capital invested, and so I congratulate them, and I shake their hand for taking the risk to do that, because there is a lot of risk involved. Because we have seen neighborhoods sit empty for years and years with infrastructure built, and that's just a lot of no return on cash if you had money in it, or if you borrowed the money. That's a lot of carrying costs for neighborhoods just to sit there. And so I bring that up just because I have a true appreciation for developers who want to take that risk. Now, let's talk about a few other commercial sales of interest. I will tell you, I saw where Diamond Properties of Louisiana sold to Jorge Properties and on Highway 107. And I knew the property because I knew the buyer, D, who owns Colleen General. And I know the folks that sold the building. It was a little building just to the right of Colleen General. If you're on Highway 107, Colleen General is a Shell station, and just to the right, there was a little building that's been a restaurant. It's been a couple of different things. And I saw yesterday, so I tied the two together. I saw where D bought the property, and he's a natural buyer because his business is right next door. He's got a very successful convenience store out there and serves that community. But then it looks like he's opening up a meat market there, like a specialty meat market. there in that little building, which I think is a fantastic idea, and it's going to serve that whole community out there. So congratulations to Dee on that, and I wish you all the success in that venture, because I think that part of the parish needs something like that. Is probably going to want it really bad. Another office of interest that sold, Jack of Baton Rouge, that's J-A-K of Baton Rouge, sells to Varhara LLC, which is a address of Medical Center Drive here in Alexandria. And I looked it up, and I know the property. It was actually 2 office buildings tied together that are sandwiched between the Gold Firm and what is now the Villas at Halsey Apartments. The Villas at Halsey Apartments is used to be a former hotel that actually a project that I did about 5 years ago, when we took that 88-room hotel, converted into a 42-unit, 55-plus senior apartment property. Turned out beautiful, and it's mainly 95% occupied, doing very, very well. Looks great. Was a nice addition to the neighborhood. But there was 2 office buildings that were sandwiched literally right between, and they were for sale for. I think they were for sale whenever I was doing that project. So they've been for sale for almost 6 years now, and so now they sold them for $275,000. So congratulations to those folks, because I think $275,000, if you had a use for those buildings, pretty good price for those, and a really good location, just close to the hospital and all the other retail over there. Karen Williams sells her business, sells her office building over in Pineville, right next to the animal shelter, right across from what I call the old Burger King, which is now Southern Classic Chicken. Sells her office building right there on 28. So congratulations to her.
Yeah, I only recently heard that she retired. My mom and dad, she was their agent, so she was asking me for references from where to go. So that's congratulations.
Yeah, and it looks like Kenny Smith bought it. So congratulations to Kenny.
Very good.
Kept it in the State Farm family.
That'll be good for them. Let's go to the phone line for another call. Good morning. You're on Talk Back with Matt.
Good morning. Could you describe approximately what's going on the new construction across the road, approximately from Firestone and Kings Country?
Yeah, absolutely. That was purchased several months ago by John Cormain and his family, and John and his wife, they bought the Lou and Laura's restaurant over in Alexandria off Jackson Street a couple of years ago, and apparently they've had success with that, and they've decided to bring a new Lou and Laura's to Pineville. And so that slab you see them being built is actually the slab for a new Lou and Laura's restaurant. And so I also saw some advertising that they have a food truck out there starting today that they're going to be serving, I guess, their chicken and po' boys that they make out of the food truck in anticipation of the restaurant being open. So
they started yesterday and plan to continue at least 5 days a week for now. And my understanding, the restaurant's going to be kind of like a step up from the Lou and Laura's in Alexandria, more of a spirit style sit down, very comfortable place. And he's really investing a lot into making that a success.
Huge investment. Anytime you do a restaurant, really, really big investment. And so wish him a lot of luck at that location. The location's fantastic for that. I mean, you can't.
Thank you for your call, caller. Appreciate that.
No. So that's I'm glad he called about that. And I think once that restaurant's open, I think you'll see more things going on right there. In that little cluster of, because there's nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else if you want to be, because retail attracts other retail. And the more traffic, the more foot traffic, the more car traffic, the more, because there's nothing special about retail. If you got traffic, and you sell burgers or you sell chicken or you sell whatever you sell, if you got so many people driving by in that area every day, you're gonna do business, and so that's how they calculate their sales. And they figure that with that much traffic, there's a reason why Taco Bell tore their building down and relocated, just built in the same spot, because that was just an ideal spot for them, and it has been for 40 years almost. And so it's interesting to see. I as a kid, I grew up on Baywood Drive, just down 165 and Military Highway. And so I can remember when all that was woods and there just really wasn't much there. And just to see it grow over the years has been very interesting. So, so we have more deals to talk about. I'm hoping we can get to all of them.
We got one break left. We got a call on the line. We'll come back to you right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Have a Class A or B CDL? Want to drive a local route every day? If you said yes, then you're who we're looking for. Waste Connections of Alexandria, Natchitoches, and Lafayette is hiring drivers with CDL license. You'll get competitive wages, paid vacations, a company stock program, a 401k with company match, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, and a local route with you at home with your family every night. Apply now at wasteconnections.com/employment. That's wasteconnections.com.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, welcome back to Talkback. We're going to go straight to the phone lines. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Matt.
Oh, yeah. Is Lou and Laura's Alexandria going to close?
I don't think so, Matt.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm not involved with with either one of the transactions. I just know about them.
They told me no.
Yeah. And
did.
John listens sometimes for his family, so you feel free. I would not want that word out there at all. Thank you, caller, for that question, but I certainly wouldn't want that word out there because I don't think they are. I don't think that at all is the plan. I think it's an expansion. So, all right, Matt.
Yeah, but interesting enough, Lou and Laura started in Pineville.
They did.
On Military Highway years and years ago, and so it's interesting to see them move back. No, we've got more sales. We've got largest residential transaction of the last 2 weeks of January was about a $862,000 sale in the Lake District, which those are starting to be more and more common to see. We also saw a lot out off Kincaid Lake sell for about $130,000. So Kincaid Lakes continues to be super popular. Randy Kaczynski sells I think it's about a 20-acre tract that was basically the remaining undeveloped land of Harmony Hills out off of Highway 28 East in Pineville. Harmony Hills is a real popular subdivision for a long, long time. Matter of fact, Randy's dad developed that neighborhood, I would say back in the 70s and early 80s. And so congratulations for Randy for that sale. Sells it to, I believe the buyer is actually just going to do a one lot, like a home site. Those have become real popular these days. It's about a little over $200,000 sale, but and I was with a group of folks yesterday talking about how, up until 3 or 4 years ago, if you had a 6-figure lot sale, it must have been some kind of lot, and it must have been, a really fantastic property. And now 6-figure lot sales are just really, they're just common. They're starting to be more and more commonplace. And I can remember when I first got my license in '99, you could pretty much buy a home anywhere. I mean, now you couldn't go to Landmark and buy a home for $100,000, but you could buy a home in most middle-age neighborhoods for $100,000, $110,000, and so it's just interesting to see 28 years later or 27 years later rather what $100,000 gets you, and so small investment property sales. I'll just I mentioned this. I'm just going through all my notes. Small old brick duplex over on Orchard Street sells for about $45,000. I know I've got some listeners out there that like to kind of hear about those kind of things, so I kind of keep those out there. Looks like a camp out on Stock Lake Road sells to Lookout Lodge LLC out of Covington. Probably a duck hunting camp for someone for about $300,000. And then got a little lender sale over off of Genie Street. Sells for $8,500. So look at there. We go from $26 million sales all the way down to $8,500 sales of real estate. Just goes to show you there's activity in all those different sectors. And I'm excited about really what's going on with the proposed data center sale. I know that I think we're going to start seeing. I think you're going to start seeing some reinvestment in downtown. I truly do. If the LSUA, and I haven't gotten an update on that lately on when the construction and if that project, I believe it's fully funded. I just don't know when the contracts are let or when the construction is going to start. Do y'all know that?
They were in here the final Tuesday before Christmas, and it was this spring. So I couldn't give you the exact day, but Jeff Langston and another guy from over there, Derek, I forget his name, but they were in here and they were super excited about it happening in the spring, breaking ground soon.
Yes,
I think it was
going to be this month.
I think it was this month.
I think when you see that, I think between downtown Alexandria, I think between the Main Street redevelopment, downtown development district, and Central State Hospital, I think we'll see some movement made. I think we'll see some movement made. Obviously with between the downtown development district and Central State Hospital, there's just there's a ton of opportunity there. There's more opportunity than I think there's demand for at this point. But I think with smart, and I know that's a kind of a term, smart growth, but with smart planning and smart growth and really some long-term vision planning of really planning that out, Central State Hospital could be just really, I keep calling it I think it's the jewel of, not Pineville, but jewel of Rapides Parish. It really is. And that's it's a 300, and it's a unique situation where you have a 300 to 400 acre tract of land that's not privately owned, that there's a lot of different opinions about what should happen. But I think if carefully planned and really thinking, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, what does that property look like? Or what does that project, the development of it look like? I think if that's in mind, that, it really could be just really a fantastic project that I'm watching very carefully. I can tell you that.
I love how bearish you are on Central Louisiana for 2026. I need to ask you on a personal level, there's going to be a big election coming up in the National Association of Realtors. When is that, and how's that going for you in your race for national treasurer?
Well, I appreciate you asking. As a matter of fact, I was in Dallas. I had a fly-in with my campaign crew into Dallas Sunday and yesterday. I got back last night. They came in from all over the country. We kicked it to a 26 kickoff, and we're really encouraged about that. So the election is June 18th. All right. So that's the finish of the show. I think we had a great show today, and I will be back in a couple of. I won't be here on the 20th. I think that's the date, but I'm gonna try to be in a day or two after.
All right, very good. Matt Ritchie, caller, we have you on the line. Sorry we couldn't get to you. Just stick around. We'll come to you during the break, see if you have a question Matt can answer. Come back tomorrow. Al will be here along with Steven and their regular
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting.
AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL.